Hi, and welcome to episode 20 of CultureWatch Radio. I'm Andrew Smith, and with me is Bill Muhlenberg. Bill, this of course is CultureWatch Radio, but tell us about CultureWatch itself.
Yeah, probably a good thing to mention for those who aren't fully aware of what this is all about. Started about 10 years ago. Interactive website, plenty of articles, commentary on issues of the day, as the name implies. We certainly talk about culture, but everything that goes with it, really. Society, politics, theology, the world of ideas, ethics, and, of course, give it a Christian perspective, probably a conservative one as well. So it kind of continues on from work I had been doing elsewhere, groups like Focus on the Family, Australian Family Association. So looking at certainly the family issues, the life issues, but the faith issues as well. So, that's what Culture Watch is about, and been going now for about almost 10 years.
And would that be 10 years of being extremely busy with it?
Oh, well, it certainly kept me off the streets, that's for sure. We actually have about 3,500 articles up now. Now, fair to say that some of these were earlier pieces, which I simply added on. But, look, I do try to get at least one new article every day. Sometimes you get 3 or 4. So I try to keep this as current and topical as possible. So 3,500 articles, that's not bad for one author, I suppose, 10 years. And something like 55,000 printed comments, plenty of comments I can't run with. You get a lot of people who are not happy with what we do. So, so very interactive with all those comments, many of which I do have to respond to. So, it really is a full-time ministry in addition to speaking and teaching and other things. So, it certainly keeps me going.
So there's pretty much a guarantee that if you come back the following day, there's going to be something new to read. How busy does this website get?
Well, it's certainly it's not in the big leagues like some of your big commentators by any means, but there are, as you know, different kind of web traffic programs that you can kind of monitor your, who's looking and why, how often, and all those kind of neat details from where. So probably getting about 4,000 visits a day. Again, not much by the standards of some of the big players, but for kind of a nobody like me, I suppose, who, is just in a small neck of the woods here. 4,000 visits on average a day that's pretty good. You're getting about 200 perhaps per hour. So obviously anybody in the world with internet access can stumble upon my site or specifically search for it. So it seems to be getting a bit of a good run, and hopefully that'll increase in days ahead.
So as much as you can tell from your side of things, how effective has this website been?
Well, that's always a good question. And as I often tell people, we will not fully know how effective we've been in any work for the Lord until we meet him one day. Then we'll find out if we've been a good and faithful servant. That's the first and main consideration we want to have. But we want to know as well that hopefully been having an impact, people being touched, lives being changed, truth getting out there in the public arena. So, you get the occasional person writing in or contacting you saying they may have actually become a Christian as a result of the ministry, or been helped in their walk with the Lord, discipled and mentored. Or, they'll say, wow, I enjoy the commentary. I'm getting the perspective here I don't usually get in other circles. So you get a bit of feedback now. Obviously, you get some negative criticism as well. Probably more of that, mind you, than the positive stuff. But you have to believe that this is God's call in your life and you're doing what he wants you to do, that it will be having the impact that it should be having. And as we say, one day we'll find out fully how much of a impact this has had, but it seems it's doing some good, so we'll keep plugging away.
I was going to ask you about, getting a bit of flack, because It's like anything that you do to stand up for what's right. There's such opposition these days, and March for the Babies is such a good example in itself.
No, absolutely. Whenever you do take a public stand on what's right, you will get opposition. Even just this morning, a few hours ago, more emails coming in from my critics. Some of it not very pleasant. A lot of it you can't print. So as I say, a lot of these comments have to go straight into the rubbish bin. But yeah, you get a fair amount of that, probably a regular stream of abuse and hate mail. On occasion, rare, but still on occasion, the death threats might come in. So it's obviously when you deal with a lot of these really hot potato topics, I mean, you're not supposed to talk about religion and politics and applied society. Well, I do both big time. So I get plenty of flack, a lot of enemies, sadly, and sometimes some pretty nasty stuff will come my way, whether in the form of comments or emails or what have you. So sadly, that seems to be part of the job description. If you want to do a commentary in the public arena defending conservative Christian values, you'll get a lot of people not happy, but, well, we're called to take a stand, to proclaim truth and, face the music if need be, but we have to get that truth out there.
Well, I suppose, as they say, you haven't lived until you've had at least one death threat. So, Bill, why do you keep on doing it if there's all this opposition and hostility?
Well, the question is, we could have asked of our Lord 2,000 years ago, right? Constantly the crowds were getting angry over him. The crowds were divided. The crowds took offense. In fact, at the end of the day, the masses preferred to crucify Jesus and wanted Barabbas to go free. So I hate to say it, the crowds are always going to be against you, but thankfully Jesus continued to the very end for our sake, so how can we do any less, right? He gave everything for us, and as a kind of a returning of the favor, we have an obligation to share truth, proclaim the gospel, make known Jesus to those who haven't heard him. And, again, that'll get a negative reaction. It did for Jesus. Jesus said, you will be hated by the world. They hated me. How can you expect not to be hated? So that kind of goes with the territory. When we stand up for biblical values and Christian truth claims, there will be opposition. There will be animosity, but that's our calling. We're to be disciples, proclaim the gospel to all the nations. So we do it for his sake and because he did it for us.
And as always, there's more information and resources available at the Culture Watch website. And we'll see you again next week with another episode of Culture Watch Radio.